Good morning, everybody. Right, we've got some meetings to do and I desperately need some coffee. Definitely don't feel properly awake after my my big old drive yesterday. It's very tiring driving, or I find it very tiring anyway. Anyway, so today I want to talk about primarily, I think, probably Cybertruck, because it turns out I might have had the wrong idea about it a little bit, and some of the new owners in the US are discovering that too, because it turns out that stainless steel does in fact rust, and it sounds like it can be fairly delicate. Which I'm at the seaside at the moment with my coffee, thank God. The salt air is famous for corroding vehicles that much quicker than people might otherwise be used to. So if you've got a stainless steel vehicle and there's no clear coat over it, it's basically just bare metal as I understand. Fundamentally, if you have something corrosive go onto it, like say bird poop, which honestly, you get quite a lot of that at the seaside, then you need to get rid of that pretty darn quick. Otherwise the thing can start rusting, which sounds like a lot of hassle, is the truth. And I know you should remove bird produce, shall we say, as soon as it basically hits the paint of your car, but this sounds like it might be even more urgent than, you know, because I've got to confess, I don't always do that straight away, and for the most part, well, not for the most part, 100%, I haven't found that there's any marks on the paint. It obviously isn't that urgent. That said, I have watched videos of numerous times where people have done things like crash shopping carts into the side of Cybertrucks and not even left a dent or a scratch or anything, so there's that at least. The fact that you actually do have to put some care into it unless you want it to look rusty is, I would have said not good news. If it was me, I'd want that thing wrapped or clear coated, you know, and then I could relax a little bit more about it. Although I understand why Tesla wouldn't do that, because of course from their point of view, it's all about making the thing as cheaply as possible, which is a problem when the fundamental design of the vehicle is unusual, requires a lot of R&D, and fundamentally I don't think is actually that cheap. I don't want to overblow the corrosion side of things. It's not that the whole car is just going to rust like a piece of steel left out in the rain, because it won't. However, it isn't going to be the kind of spotless finish that it was when it came from the factory unless you take active steps to keep it that way. I think that's really the point, and I think that's probably for a lot of the proper truck users, shall we say, that the people who are using them as work tools, I think that's going to be absolutely fine. I think for the sort of the Tesla crowd that want to have the, you know, most powerful, newest Tesla because that's just what they want, and they want it to be absolutely spotless, and the first thing they do with their new Tesla is take it to a detailer who will redo all the paint to an absolute perfect finish. Those kind of people, I think they're going to want to do something with it, whether it's a wrap or a clear coat, or I would suggest something is a good idea. Otherwise, there are going to be little blemishes that will appear, no doubt, over time, and that will drive them mad. Wouldn't bother me. I mean, have you seen my car? It's in desperate need of a wash. Although, when I do wash it, it looks pretty amazing, quite honestly. The paint seems to have held up really well. Although, to be fair, I've had a few had someone go into the back of me, I've had a few animals go into the front, so the front and back have both been replaced a few times, and it was detailed like 6 years ago or something, so, you know, it's had some care and attention go into it. But yeah, unfortunately, Cybertruck is not going to be available in the UK or Europe anytime soon. You cannot order it at the moment. And honestly, I'm not sure that will change. It might do, it might do. The big problem I can see is crash regulations in Europe, I think, are a little bit more stringent when it comes to pedestrian safety. That thing looks like a massive great guillotine with wheels, basically. I would worry if it was to hit a pedestrian, that would probably be the end of said pedestrian. Is that overcomable? Well, you know what, anything's overcomable with enough time and effort, and I think the truth is, at the moment, Tesla are just concentrating on actually building the cars for the market they've got in the US, where they don't have to do anything complicated like install airbags for pedestrians that you hit or something. I don't know, is that the solution? You see, the thing is, bonnets are to some degree designed to have a bit of a cushioning effect, if you hit someone, and that way you're not going to do as much damage as you might otherwise do to them, which is good. I mean, it's good that they're designed that way, that pedestrian safety is taken seriously. Perhaps in the US the trick is don't get run over by a Cybertruck. In fact, the trick in the US is don't have an accident with a Cybertruck, because the chances are you are going to come off much worse than the Cybertruck. I saw a picture of a Cybertruck that had a car had sort of swerved into the oncoming traffic in the US, and hit the Cybertruck sort of not quite full on, sort of slightly to the side, but from what I could tell, the Cybertruck was more or less unscathed, and the other car was completely totaled. So like the whole front of it was just totally mashed. So yeah, it's great for the occupants of that Cybertruck, but I hope it doesn't lead to a kind of arms race on the road, you know, a bit like you get with the, as they used to be called, the Chelsea tractors, where every parent in London's like, oh, I've got to drive a massive grade 4x4 because that'll be safer for my family in that 4x4. But it means that everybody else is like, well, I can't drive a small suitable car for the city, then I need to drive a massive great truck. You can see what's going to happen, can't you? If one of those parents gets a Cybertruck, they'll all have to get Cybertrucks. I suppose from Tesla's point of view, that's not a bad thing. I think that's probably everything I want to say about the Cybertruck at the moment. I still think it looks awesome. I would love to have one, and I would love to have a vehicle that I could park in a car park and just not worry about door dings from other vehicles, kind of the opposite of all the aluminium Teslas that they've made so far, like my car, where you have to be incredibly careful because of the softness of aluminium. Time for me to go meet up with V, and whilst I'm heading over that way, I want to talk about the other thing that I wanted to sort of mention today, which is hydrogen, because I bumped into I guess you'd call it, is it an opinion piece? Not really, because it's more fact than opinion. Anyway, it's a Guardian article, and what they were basically saying is what everyone already knows, or at least regular viewers of this channel anyway, which is that fundamentally hydrogen's not going to work. Is it going to power cars? No. Will it have some niche, long distance, point to point sort of uses? Well, potentially, yes. But you're not going to get it in your car. There aren't enough places that you can get hydrogen. It is far too expensive to use, and the nature of hydrogen is it's a bit like if you had cars that ran on methane, which can be a totally green fuel if you generate the methane from the atmosphere by putting in copious quantities of electricity. However, it's much easier and cheaper to just get it out of the ground, and most hydrogen comes from methane, steam-formed methane, so that is the cheapest way to do it. That's where most of it comes from. And even so, it's more expensive than petrol and diesel, and by volume has far less energy density. So it's not a good fuel. It isn't. I don't know what the Japanese government thinks they're doing, but it's not working. It's not working there even. It certainly isn't going to work here. So yeah, people that, their main excuse for not getting an EV is, well, hydrogen's just round the corner. Not reality, I'm afraid. Anyway, it's an interesting article. If you're still sort of wondering what I'm talking about, I recommend you read it. I will put a link in the description for those that are interested. I think the coffee's worked its way in now, so I'm good to go. Yeah, anyway, we've had a good day. Got some stuff done. Yep. It's awesome. I'm going to say goodbye now, and yeah, I hope you found today's video interesting and fun. Let me know in the comment section if you're getting a Cybertruck. Have you got one? Have you got rust problems? I'd be interested to know. Yeah, anyway, leave a like, share it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next episode of my vlog. Bye.